Hello traders, FXPIPCOLLECTOR here. Today is Monday, May 15th, and welcome to today's live stream. Happy Monday, thanks for coming. So as usual, we're going to look at the DXY US dollar index first, then we're going to take that information that we learned from analyzing those pairs, and then we're going to apply it to all the other US dollar pairs, including gold. Then we'll probably look at the yen pairs, probably go look at oil, maybe natural gas, and I got a couple cryptos to look at. And definitely circle back to the dollar pairs. So on the DXY, I like to zoom out during these live streams a little bit so I can kind of give a little perspective about what it is that I see. Now, one thing that's very important to see is you got a lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we have an uptrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks to me like an A. This looks like an A, B, C, a B. I still think there's a very good likelihood this move up is a wave C. It definitely respected these Fibonacci levels, made a very impulsive move down, and took out structure. That should tell us that it's an end of a trend right there. If that's the end of a trend, then it's probably the end of a wave C trend, and it most likely is going to go down and take out these lows. Now, we are talking about the monthly time frame, so that's going to most likely take maybe a couple years to play out. But even if you're trading on the very short time frame, these monthly charts are very, very important, because what you see on like the monthly, weekly, and even the daily definitely are going to overrule pretty much anything you see on any of the very short time frames. So now let's take it down to the weekly time frame on the US dollar index. Now on the weekly time frame, I do believe that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, most likely a 1. I still think this move up right here is going to end up being a complete wave 2. I think this correction is actually over, and it's not going to go up and make that bigger wave C like I was thinking and talking about last week. I think instead this move up right here is a part of a correction to this move down, and it's going to turn at one of these Fibonacci levels and just end up continuing the downtrend, all part of a wave 3. So let's take a look at that on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, I think this is a motive wave correction here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C, D, E, which is a correction to this whole move down, which I believe this move down is a wave 1. I think this is an A, B, C, D, E of 2. And then I see what I believe is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this is like a 1 of 3. This to me looks like an A, 3 waves down for the B, and another uptrend for the C. Probably a wave 2 of 3. And I think that this is still going to end up going down for a wave 3 of wave 3. So let's head down even more to the 4-hour time frame. Zoom out a little bit on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour time frame, I think this is an A. Now this is a higher high right here than this, so I'm sure that somebody's going to beat me up in the comments about that. But if you look it up in pretty much any Elliott Wave book, you'll see that's called an irregular top, or an irregular wave B is what I call it. I think this is a downtrend for the A. I think this is 3 waves up for the B. I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of wave C. And this is an A, B, C, or B. And then I think this move up right here is the wave C. Now we are turning at the 38.2 and the 100% Fibonacci extension of wave A, which is definitely a very likely place for the wave C to end. Now unfortunately on this time frame we really don't have any structure breaks, so it probably is going to make another push up. But I have a feeling there's a good chance that's going to make a lower high, and it's probably going to just keep on going down. I think there's a pretty good chance we have the end of an ABC correction already. So taking it down to the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, we definitely do have a break of structure on this time frame, but that's not that important of a structure break. I do think this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably a wave 1, but it could possibly be a wave A. And then I think the next move probably will be up, like I was just showing on the 4-hour. I think it's going to be a wave 2, but it could possibly be a wave B. And then if it goes down again and makes a wave C, that's what will tell me that this is not the end of an ABC correction. If it goes down, makes a trend for the wave C, and then breaks structure to the upside, that's going to tell me that it's actually going back up. But on the other hand, if it does make a downtrend like this, but then it never breaks structure and probably will make some pullbacks, but then just keeps making lower lows, lower highs, that's what's going to tell me this is a 1, a 2, and a wave 3. Either way, if whether this is a B or whether it's a 2, it's definitely going to be a very profitable trade to trade the end of this move right here. This move up right here, whether it's a wave C or whether it's a wave 3, it's definitely going to be a very profitable move. So definitely worth trading either scenario. So now we have a pretty good idea of what is going on with the US dollar index. Now we can take that information and we can apply it to all the other US dollar pairs, including gold and maybe even look at silver. So if you haven't done so already, definitely give my Discord channel a look. We have, I believe, what are we up to now? We're up to 3246, so 3,246 members. It's 100% free to join, no obligations to pay anything if you do not want to. I do offer a membership program where I do help people to teach them how to trade, but you can join that Discord 100% for free if you want to. Link is in the description and in the chats. So now let's get to looking at the other US dollar pairs. So let's start off at the euro dollar. Let's go back up to the daily time frame and let's work our way down from there. So the euro dollar is definitely pushing down pretty hard, but I still believe that this is a 1 right here. I believe that this is a 2, and I believe this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 1, probably a 1 of 3. This to me looks like an A, B, C. I think it's a 2 of 3, and I think this is going to end up trending back up for a wave 3 of 3. I believe that we're in a wave 3, and we're probably in a 1, 2, and 3 of wave 3. So if that's true, then we definitely want to look for the end of this trend on shorter time frames. Going down to the 4-hour time frame, I think this first move down is an A. I think this is all a very corrective A, B, C of wave B. And then to me, this looks like a downtrend. It definitely could end up making like another wave down, but looking at the dollar index, I definitely do see the idea that this may actually already have the end of a trend for the wave C. It is definitely trying to turn at the 38.6, so there's a couple things that would tell me that this is over. If I see a higher low, that is one thing that could tell me that this trend is over, or a break of structure to the upside. Either one of those should tell me that this trend is over and that we're actually done with the ABC correction and we're back into an uptrend. So let's take it down to the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, really our last structure level is way up here, so we really can't say for sure that this wave C is over, and it definitely could make another push to the downside. But I do think there's a very good likelihood that this is going to go up, it is going to break structure, and it is going to start making its way up with those higher highs and higher lows. So that tells me that I definitely want to be looking for pullback entries on these shorter time frames while I wait and see if it does go up and look for a break of structure. That break of structure would prove that this whole downtrend right here is over, and if that downtrend is over and it is a wave C, that means that the whole ABC correction is complete. So now let's take a look at the pound dollar. We'll start working our way down, looking at all the dollar pairs from the daily down to the 1-hour time frame. So the pound dollar is pretty similar to the euro dollar, except for the euro has been a little bit weaker, but I do believe this is a 1, I believe this is a 2, and I believe we're in a wave 3. Just like the euro dollar, I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, probably a 1 of 3. I think this is an A, 3 waves up for the B, and a downtrend for the C. Now, before anybody blasts up my comments, I do realize that this is a higher high right here than this, but you can look it up in an Elliott Wave book. That's called an irregular top or an irregular wave B. I think this is an ABC of 2, and I still think this is going to just keep on going up for a wave 3. I think we're in a wave 3, and this should be a 1 of 3, a 2 of 3, and a wave 3 of wave 3. So let's head down to the 4-hour time frame. Now on the 4-hour time frame, I believe this is a downtrend right here for the A. This is all what I think is all part of a very corrective overlapping pattern, which I believe to be a wave B, especially looking at other pairs like the euro dollar and the dollar index. And then I think this move down right here is a wave C. As you can see, we are turning up pretty strong. We have not broken structure yet, but I do think there's a pretty good likelihood we've ended a wave C right at the 23%. So I'm either looking for a higher low to help confirm that, or I'm looking for a break of structure to help confirm that the wave C really is over and that we are heading back up for the continuation of that big wave 3 that I was showing on the daily time frame. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame is where you can now start to see this downtrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually a very clear pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. We have now broken structure to the upside. Like I said, we can't really prove for sure that this wave C is over, but with how strong up this is, I do think that it is going to go up. I think it's going to make higher lows. I think it's going to break structure. I think it's going to prove that this wave C really is over and that it's just going to keep on trending up. So that tells me that I definitely want to be looking for longs in an uptrend at the end of any of these ABC pullbacks that I may see, especially on like the 1 hour, maybe 30-minute range time frames. So now let's check out the Aussie dollar, and we'll go back up to the daily time frame and work our way down from there. So the Aussie dollar is actually turning up very strong, which is funny because the Aussie dollar is also very, very strong to the downside. But I believe the Aussie dollar is pretty similar in a way. I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. This looks like an A, 3 ways down for the B, and a C, a B. Then this is a downtrend for the C. Nice impulsive move up, taking out a bunch of structure along the way. I think that pretty much proves that the wave B is over, and I do think this is going to make a higher low, and most likely just keep on trending up, probably part of a 1, 2, and wave 3. So I do suspect that this one has got a long ways to go to the upside also. Now going down to the 4 hour, it's kind of hard to picture this one being an ABC correction if you only looked at this. But if you looked at all dollar pairs, especially the indexes, I do still think this is a ABC correction. It's not turning at a Fibonacci level. As you can see, it's kind of turning right in the middle of 2, but it is making a very impulsive move up. I think there's a good chance this is an end of a trend for that wave C and that it's going to start trending up now, telling me that on the shorter time frames, I'm definitely going to be looking for longs in an uptrend. Going down to the 1 hour, this is where you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shape. Another very clear trend for the wave C. It has not taken out the high of wave 4 of C, so we can't say for sure that the wave C really is over. But with how impulsive up this is and how corrective down this looks, I do think that it is going to go up. I do think it is going to break structure, and I believe that it is going to start to continue that big uptrend, which I believe to be a wave 3 on the longer time frames. So, like I said, that definitely tells me that I am looking for longs at the end of any pullbacks along the way for the continuation of what I think is going to end up being a wave 3. So now let's look at the Kiwi dollar. That's very similar to the Aussie dollar, except for a little bit on the weaker side to the upside. Very strong down, just like the Aussie dollar. It's not really convincing that it's over yet, but I do think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. This is an A, B, C, a B, and I think this is a downtrend for the C, so A, B, C, a B. Very impulsive move up, taking out a bunch of structure along the way. I think that we are just in a pullback. I think this is just going to be a bear trap. I think this is just going to end up continuing the uptrend. Just like the Aussie dollar, probably a 1, 2, and a wave 3. So let's take it down to the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, this one is definitely not that convincing that it's over. I will definitely admit that, but it's very impulsive up. Now, I can't really picture this one being an A, B, C like I could the Aussie dollar, but if it does start to make like a higher low, and or it takes out structure on the shorter time frames, then maybe this one will end up continuing the uptrend also. Like I said, this one is definitely not that convincing that it's over, but if we looked at all pairs, all dollar pairs, I would be pretty convinced that it probably is over. Now this is where you can start to see those lower lows, lower highs. Very strong move to the downside, which it really hasn't taken out any structure yet, so there's definitely a chance that this could make another push to the downside, but it is impulsive up, and so far this move down does look corrective, probably a correction to this move up. So if we see an impulsive move up, if we start to see some breaks of structure, that will convince me that this is the end of a correction, and I would definitely start looking for longs in an uptrend. Even this move down that we're currently getting, if I see an impulsive move up at the 3 ways down, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity also for the continuation of what I think is also possibly going to end up being a big wave 3. Hey Manu, how's it going? Hey Quizzy. Hey Mario, maybe we'll get to look at that, but usually I only take requests from my Patreon members. It's kind of part of the benefits of being a Patreon member. So if you are interested in joining that, you can find the link for that in the description and in the chats. It also comes with a trading course and a bunch of other benefits, so definitely check that out. So let's look at the US dollar Canadian starting on the daily. Now this one I think is a little different, but it's pretty similar. I think this right here is a 1. I think this is an A, B, C, probably a 2. And I still think this is a downtrend, probably a 1 of 3. I think this has already ended a correction, a 2 of 3. And I think this move up right here is probably just a bull trap also. I think it's just trying to trick people into going long. I think it's going to make a lower high, and just end up continuing down also, part of a wave 3. So I pretty much suspect the same thing on most all these dollar pairs, which is more movement to the downside on the dollar. So the 4-hour time frame, I think this is a 1. I think this is a big ABC of 2, even though that is a lower high than that. I think that's what I call an irregular wave C, because a wave C usually does take out the high of wave A, but this one definitely didn't. This right here is a downtrend. I think this is an ABC also, and I think that it's just very strong to the upside, because the dollar is really struggling to go down because there's a lot of buying pressure. But I do think there's a very good likelihood that this one is also turned at the 78.6, and that if it does go up, that it will make a lower high and just start trending down. So let's take it down to the 1-hour time frame. So 1-hour time frame, to me it's very clear this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It definitely could be a wave A, but I think it is a wave 1. This next move up should be a correction to this move down. So that would be either a 2 or a B. That means that the next move down would be this move that would tell us whether this is a correction to this move up or not. So if it goes down, breaks structure to the upside, that will tell us it's a wave C. If it goes down and never breaks structure and just keeps making lower lows, lower highs, that's what will tell us it's a wave 3. So if you pay attention to the pattern, you pay attention to your structure, then usually you can figure out pretty easily what is going to happen next on most time frames. So now let's go check out the US dollar Swiss. Head up to the daily time frame. The US dollar Swiss, I think, is currently already in its wave 3. To me, this looks like a big downtrend for the 1. This is an ABC of 2, and I think we're already in that wave 3. And I think this move up right here is just a correction within that wave 3, and I still believe that this has also got a long ways to go to the downside. 4-hour time frame, we definitely have a turn, and it did not take out any structure. I think this is an A. I think we have a very clear 3 ways down for the B, and I think this is an uptrend for the wave C. This move down has not taken out any structure yet, but it definitely is impulsive, and looking at all pairs, I do think there's a very good chance that that is the end of a correction, and that this is now just going to start making its way down. So I would definitely start looking for shorts on shorter time frames on this one also. So 1-hour time frame, like I said, we really don't have any structure break. I mean, we do have a little bit of structure break there, but that only proves that this wave is over. That doesn't really prove that the whole ABC correction is over. But looking at all dollar pairs, I do think there is a very good chance that this is over. This wave C, that is. And that if it does make a move to the upside, which I don't even know if it will now, but if it does, I think it's just going to be a correction to the downtrend. And because of that, if I do see any moves to the upside, those are definitely the trades that I'm looking for entries to go short for the continuation of this downtrend. Just like back here, if it was going up, I'll be looking for longs. ABC down, go long. ABC down, go long. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, except for now I'm looking for ABC up, impulsive down to go short. So now let's check out the US dollar yen, which the US dollar yen, which I've talked about quite a bit in the past few weeks. We definitely got a we got a dollar and the yen kind of fighting each other, because the yen, a lot of the yen pairs look like they have a long ways to go to the upside. And that may actually push this US dollar yen up even more. I really wouldn't be surprised if this did just keep on drifting up. Even if the dollar does continue down like I suspected it will, I really wouldn't be surprised if the yen causes this to just keep on drifting up. But for now, I'm definitely going to stick to the pattern because usually the pattern doesn't lie. I think this is a 1. I think this is an uptrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. I think this is like a 3-way pattern down for the B, and I do think there's a good chance this move up is a wave C and that we've already turned at the 38.2, and that this move down is actually going to be a crescent and it's going to make a lower high, and just keep on working its way down. So now we can keep that in mind. Go down to the 4-hour time frame. Like I said, we have to be a little cautious with this one because the yen could definitely just keep on pushing this up, but we have impulsive down, which never took out any structure. So just like a lot of these other dollar pairs, we can't really say for sure that this wave C is over, but I think there's a good chance it is a 1. I think this could be a A, 3 ways down for the B, and an uptrend for the C. We are sitting at this 61.8 level, so if it does make an impulsive move down, especially if it starts to take out some structure, that probably will prove to me that it is the end of a wave 2, and most likely it will continue down, all part of a wave 3. So let's take it right down to the 1 hour, which is where we kind of need to be to see the structure anyways. This right here I think is actually a pretty clear uptrend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this does turn down in a big way, if it does take out structure at the Fibonacci level, I think that's going to be the end of a trend for the wave C, and that's probably going to be a pretty nice entry to go short. I think there's a good chance this is an A, this is like an A, B, C, or B, and this is now, if it does break that structure, it's now going to be continuing the downtrend for the continuation on the longer time frames. So let's go check out gold. Definitely a fan favorite of most of the people in my group, and definitely a little difficult to trade as of lately. You can see how choppy it was right here, and then it made a impulsive move up, and now it's right back into the chop. So very, very choppy pattern, and part of the reason because of that is because we are so close to all-time highs on gold. There's a wicked lot of selling pressure on gold, but as you can see, there's a lot of buying pressure also because it really hasn't made a move to the downside yet. And then I still consider these all higher lows, and I still think that it's going to make another higher low, and I still think there's a very good likelihood that this is just going to keep on going up. This line does represent all-time highs, at least on my Orlando broker, so I think it is going to go up, but I do suspect that this is going to continue to be a very volatile pair because of those all-time highs. There's going to be a lot of sellers, but as of right now, because the fact that it is making higher lows the whole way up, you can tell just by looking at it, the buyers are definitely still in control of this pattern. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, on the 4-hour it definitely looks to me like an ABC, and then a 3-way pattern up for the D, and then a downtrend possibly for a wave E. We are definitely respecting that 61.8, and we are starting to make a move to the upside. We may possibly already have the end of a crescent here, just like the other dollar pairs, and if that's the case, it probably is going to start making its way up, at least towards this all-time high level, right around the 2076 area is where all-time highs is on my broker. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of volatility, especially when we get up to here, probably a lot of choppy patterns, but I do think that it will end up continuing up, and I think eventually it's going to break out of that area, and I still will have a forecast, if you watch my full videos on gold, right around the 23, maybe even higher, $2,300 level is where my forecast on the monthly and weekly time frame is for gold. So let's see if silver tells us anything different. Silver is definitely a little different, but I think it also, I could possibly make this out to be like an A, and this is like an A, B, C, or B. And then this move down kind of looks like more like a 1, 2, 3 though, doesn't it? It looks almost like this move up right here could be a wave 4, and it could go down again for a wave 5 on this one. But sometimes when you have a wave C, the wave 5 can actually be very subtle. So this right here actually could be a 1, 2. And then this is the 3, and then that little move right there is probably the 3, 4, 5, and it may just keep on going up. So we definitely have to be careful if we're thinking that this is still going down, because just like the other dollar pairs and just like gold, there's a chance that this has already ended a wave C, and we're just going to keep on trending up, breaking structure, and continuing the uptrend. So let me check out my chats real quick, see if there's anything that I want, any more requests. Yeah, so let's see. Doesn't look like there's any new requests. So now now that we've looked at all the dollar pairs, we're gonna go look at the yen pairs, and then we'll probably go look at oil and the stock market, a couple cryptocurrencies, and a few other things also. So let's go to the yen pairs. Now, I do like to show this in my live streams because I do think it's very important to understand the longer time frames. But if you look at all these yen pairs, I still think that they've got a long ways to go to the upside. The euro yen, I think, is going up there. The pound yen, I also think, is going up to the 100% level, or maybe possibly the 78.6. Either way, it does look to me like we have a long ways to go up. The Aussie yen, I also think, very similar. I think this is going up to about the 100% Fibonacci level on the monthly. Now, these are the monthly time frames, but that definitely is very important, even if you're trading on the short time frames, to understand what's going on the monthly, because these monthly time frames, like I say, are definitely king over whatever you may see on the shorter time frames. The Kiwi dollar, I think, is going up to around the 98 level. The Canadian, I think, is a little different, but I think this is just ended at wave 2, and I think this is also going up to probably either the 123 or the 138 level to finish off this uptrend. Maybe more likely the 123, but either way, it's a long ways to go up. And the Swiss yen also is already in all-time highs. We're already in an all-time high with Swiss yen. And I think there's actually a pretty good chance that this is not even a wave 5 and that it may just keep on going up. It may just continue to make those all-time highs. In the US dollar yen, we already looked at that. We got a little bit of a weak dollar versus a weak yen, which is why I keep saying that the US dollar yen is probably not the pair that I would choose right now to be trading. So going down to the daily on all these yen pairs, this looks like, to me, 3 waves down to the 38%. That looks like the end of a correction. Looks like it's heading up to me. On the 4-hour time frame, this is a downtrend right here, probably an A. I think there's a good chance this is a B, and I think there's a good chance this is a wave C. It definitely went right to the 38.6. I think there's a pretty good chance this is the end of a correction, so I am definitely looking for longs. Really, I'm looking for longs on all yen pairs right now because I think this is going to end up continuing the uptrend. So let's head down one more time frame. Let's look at the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I think it's a wave C. We have a move up. I think it's a 1. I think this is a 2, and I think that we're trending up right now, and we're probably going to continue to trend. We definitely have a break of structure, which should prove that this is the end of a correction. So I am definitely looking for longs on these sort of time frames for the continuation of this uptrend. The pound yen, very similar, except for the pound yen is actually quite a bit stronger today. But 3 waves down, almost a perfect 3-wave pattern to the 61.8. Nice impulsive move to the outside. I think that we already had the end of a correction. I think it's going to break out of this level, probably break out of the 78.6, and most likely just keep on trending up. So going down to the 4-hour time frame is where this pattern really is clearest. We got a downtrend for the A, we got 3 waves up for the B, we got a downtrend for the C. Right to the 61.8, I think this is very clear that this is an uptrend, and I'm sure we'll have some pullbacks along the way, which is really good for us because that gives us opportunities to go long, but I do believe that this will end up continuing the uptrend. Yeah, it definitely could be a correction menu, no doubt about it. We don't have any break of structure, really, but we'll definitely circle back to gold later on. But yeah, that could definitely be a correction, for sure. So 1-hour time frame, we definitely do have a break of structure. We have a couple breaks of structure. Very impulsive move to the upside. At this point, I definitely wouldn't be going long because you would definitely be chasing it. But if I do see a pullback, anything like this, like a 3-way pattern down or anything really along those lines, then I am definitely going to be prepared to go long for what I think is the continuation of the uptrend. Just like this over here, except for backwards. 3 waves up, impulsive down, entry to go short. So even right here, look, 3 waves down, impulsive up, entry to go long. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm definitely not going to enter now, but if I see 3 waves down, if I see impulsive up, then I will definitely be ready to go long. Aussie dollar, same thing, just very weak to the upside, but very much the same thing. I'm definitely looking for pullback entries on all yen pairs right now. Pretty much whatever one is the clearest at the time is the one that I would probably choose to enter. But I'm definitely looking for three-way pullbacks. This right here looks like it's closer to the end of a trend, so if it does make a pullback, that's where I'm going to be entering. I definitely wouldn't enter now because you would for sure be chasing price, and you would probably enter right before the beginning of a pullback, so I would definitely wait for a proper ABC correction before I do end up entering long. So, US dollar Canadian I think was the other one that was requested by my members. Now, US dollar Canadian, this move down right here does kind of resemble a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shape, but I do believe that this spike right here is actually a wave 5 to an uptrend that we can't even see back here. And that means that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A, and this is probably an A, B, C of B, and this is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. I think this is an ABC correction, and I believe the correction is over, and I believe it's just going to keep on trending up, eventually taking out these highs and making that big uptrend like I was showing on the much longer time frames. 4-hour time frame, you can tell that the Canadian is strong because it definitely made a higher low. But I think this is an A, I think this is like a three-way pattern up for the B, and I think this is a downtrend for the C. Now, price did turn right at the 61.8% of this level up, but really it looks like it's an ABC correction. This is probably an irregular wave C, because it definitely did not take out the low of wave A, which most ABC corrections do take out the low of wave A, so that's why I'm calling it an irregular ABC correction, and I think there's a good chance that this one also is continuing the uptrend. 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. It was a little tricky on this one on the sort of time frames because this move up was very corrective looking. That's the problem with looking at some of these sort of time frames, and I think the same thing might be going on with gold, honestly, is when you're looking at the short time frames, this is not a 1 hour time frame ABC correction. It's like a 4 hour, maybe even 8 hour ABC correction. So when you're looking at the sort of time frames, it looks very corrective, making you think that it's going to go down again. But because it's a longer time frame turn, this move up is trending on like the 8 hour time frame, which means that on the sort of time frames it probably is very corrective looking. But what actually happens sometimes in this situation is it just keeps on moving up, and it just keeps on going up, and you're going to be looking for shorts, you're going to be looking for shorts, you're going to be looking for shorts, and instead of going long the whole time, you'll just continue to look for shorts and experience a lot of losing trades. When really, if you paid attention to where the clarity was, which is around the 4 to 8 hour time frame, you would see three ways down, impulsive up, and you would know that there's a good chance this is over, and you should be looking for longs on the shorter time frames. And like I said, I think something very similar to that is going on with gold. That ABCDE correction is really like a, maybe even like a 8 hour type correction, and the reason why it looks corrective on the sort of time frames is because it's not tuned to the correct frequency of chart. So that's all the yen pairs. So let's see, let's go look at what do we got next? Let's go look at some oil and natural gas. I was thinking that oil ended at wave C last week, which it looks like it's starting to follow through. And zoom in a little bit. I think there's a good chance we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A, and then it's eventually going to go down and make a B, which a wave B would be a correction to the whole wave A, and then eventually back up to make a C. Just like I saw in my full top-down analysis videos on oil. So knowing now, let's go down to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame looks to me like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely a little bit of a tricky pattern, but oil does make very impulsive moves sometimes, but I think it's an A, B, C. I think it's turning at the 38.6. I think there's a very good chance this is just going to keep on drifting up in a wave 3. Probably eventually going to make a wave 3, 4, and 5, just like what I was showing on the daily time frame. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame. So I believe this up here is the end of a wave 1. I think even though this move up was very choppy, I do see 5 waves right there. I definitely see like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, even though that move up I think happened at the news. It doesn't really change the pattern. I think that's an A. I think this is a B, C, a B. I think this is a downtrend for the C. We do have an impulse to move up. It did break some structure, but I would like to see it break this big high up here to really prove that this is the end of an ABC correction. Or I would like to see a significant higher low, and then maybe later on a break of structure to help prove that that correction really is over. But I definitely think it would be worth going long on these sort of time frames while we learn whether this really is the end of an ABC of 2 and it really is actually continuing the uptrend or not. So I would definitely keep an eye on this one, and maybe even like the 15-minute time frame to look for pullback entries for the continuation of this uptrend. Let's go look at natural gas. This wasn't requested, but I do know it is a favorite of some of my members, so I do like to look at it. So going up to the daily time frame, natural gas, like I've been saying for quite some time, to me is very clear that it's a 1, ABC of 2. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of wave 3, and I still think there's a very good chance this is going to go up and make a correction for the 4, which is probably going to be about the same size as the wave 2, and then eventually go down and make a wave 5. Then we'll have a complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. Definitely very, very clear to me. On the sort of time frames now, what do we got going on these sort of time frames? Now, they definitely did make a higher low right here, but I think there's a good chance it's actually a 3, 4, 5 to a bigger move, like a 3, 4, 5 of 5, which is a wave 5 of wave 3 most likely. And I think there's a pretty good chance this is like a 1, this is like an ABC of 2, and I think there's a pretty good chance this is going to keep on drifting up, making higher highs and higher lows, telling me that we should be looking for pullback entries on these sort of time frames, maybe even shorter than this, for the continuation of this uptrend possibly, because if it makes a big ABC of 4 like I was showing on the daily time frame, this is going to be a big move to the upside. You can kind of zoom out a little bit to get a perspective about how big it would be. Probably like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. Probably like some sort of a corrective wave B, and then another move up for a wave C. So it'll probably end up looking something like this for like an ABC of 4, which is definitely a big move to the upside. 1 hour time frame, this is actually very clear also. This is very impulsive, so that's impulsive, followed by 1, 2, 3 waves down, 1, 2 waves, 1 and 2, and I believe we're in a wave 3 right now, which is most likely not over. So that tells me if I do see any pullbacks, those are definitely the trades I'm looking for the continuation of this uptrend. Definitely no reason to think otherwise as of yet, that this is not a wave 3, and unless it goes down and takes out this structure, I would just continue to look for pullback entries, higher lows, entries to go long for the continuation of the uptrend. Let's go look at the stock market, and then we'll look at a couple cryptocurrencies that were requested, Bitcoin and one other, and then we'll move on from there. We'll come back to the dollar pairs. So you almost have to go up to the weekly for me to fully understand what I think is going on with the stock market. I still think that this move down right here is a wave A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. I think this is an A, 3 waves down for the B, and that we're still in a wave C of B, which I do believe will continue to go up, probably at least to the high of wave 4, maybe even higher. And then I think probably this fall or so that we are going to have a big push down, probably at least down to the 61.8%, right around the 31.88 area to finish this wave C. So what that tells me is on these sort of time frames, even though the daily's not shorter, but like the 4 hour and 1 hour, I am expecting that this move up is not complete, and I think that it's going to keep on going up. So that tells me on these sort of time frames that I definitely am still looking for longs in an uptrend for sure. I think there's a good chance that this move down is going to be a correction, so really we should be putting our Fibonacci on here. Oops. Let's see, there we go. Get our Fibonacci set up properly. I think there's a good chance this is just one big overlapping pattern with very, very overlapping, and that it's going to bounce off a fib level and just end up continuing the uptrend. So I am definitely still looking for longs on this one, and I'm only looking to go long at the pullbacks. So right now it looks like definitely a complex correction. We got a very clear triangle pattern forming right here. It's almost like a ascending triangle. So it looks like an A, B, C, D, E, and then maybe even an F and a G. This is like a 7-wave pattern so far. Probably going to go down to the 61.8, make an impulsive turn, and then most likely end up continuing the uptrend. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that one also. See what happens with that over the next few days. It may actually end up forming a long opportunity at some point. So let's go back to cryptocurrency and take a look at Bitcoin, and ADA is the one that was requested, which is the Cardano. So what's going on with Bitcoin? Been a while since I've looked at this one also, because I don't personally trade Bitcoin. I do like to analyze it though. Now we definitely did have a break of structure, so this is a good example right here. We had a break of structure, but almost as soon as it broke structure, it turned back up. I think there's a good chance this is right here is the end of a correction. It actually seems very clear. One wave down, wave A. 3 waves up, wave B. Another wave down with a break of structure, and then a rejection, wave C. Now we're probably heading back up, and we're probably not even close to being over. Going down to the 4-hour time frame, let's get rid of some of these fib levels. So on the 4-hour time frame, this right here to me looks like a downtrend, like an A. One wave up. Let me draw that a little clearer. One wave up, wave A. 1, 2, 3 waves down, wave B. Another trend up, wave C. A, B, C, or B. Impulsive down, break of structure, and then we have a downtrend. I think it's a C. We don't really have a break of structure up yet, but with how impulsive up this is, I think that it will break structure, and I think that it will most likely continue the uptrend. So I would definitely be looking for longs at the end of pullbacks on these sort of time frames for possibly the continuation of this uptrend, which I think there's a good chance we might be in a wave 3 on the longer time frames. So going down to the 1 hour, this is the structure level that would really tell me that this move down is complete, and that this really is the end of a wave C, which we definitely don't have yet. But look how corrective this move down is. I would say that almost guaranteed that this is going to make another push up. I bet it will break structure, and I bet that this will just keep on making higher highs and higher lows. So I would definitely be looking for a long at the end of this pullback, or any other pullbacks that I may see along the way for the continuation of this uptrend. So let's go check out the Cardano. Definitely something that I do not normally analyze, and like I told my member, I definitely have never really looked at this one too much, and I definitely don't really analyze crypto much except for Bitcoin. But it does look like it could be a wave A. It does look like that could be a wave B, and it does look like this could be a wave C. We are definitely turning at the 61.8, so we may want to keep an eye on that. That may have already ended a correction also. So we may have to keep an eye on that one. It looks like it could be trying to end the correction. Ooh, going down here though, it doesn't look too convincing. This looks like a downtrend for sure, like a wave A. This looks like 3 waves up for like a wave B. And does it have a complete trend? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C? It definitely did break structure, which is probably why it's pulling back. I would definitely at this point be looking for a higher low, higher low. If we do see that higher low, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity for possibly the continuation of this uptrend. So I would be looking for a higher low for sure to help prove that this is the end of a correction, which is definitely not much proof. I mean, we do have a break of structure, but almost as soon as it broke structure to the upside, it turned right back down. So sometimes when that happens, it just keeps on drifting down. So definitely be careful on that one. But I would possibly look at this move as possibly being an ABC correction. So if it makes 3 waves down, ABC, if it makes an impulsive move to the upside, then I would take that as a possible end of a correction and possibly an entry to go long for the continuation of an uptrend. But it's not really too convincing. It does make pretty good 3-wave pullbacks. That's definitely 3 waves there. This is 3 waves there. On probably the 30-minute, you can see that that's 3 waves. So it definitely makes some pretty good patterns. 1, 2, 3 waves up, go short. 1, 2, 3 waves up, go short. 1, 2, 3 waves up, go short. 3 waves down, go long. So if it makes a three-wave pattern down, if it makes an impulsive move up, then I would definitely take it as a long opportunity for possibly the continuation of the uptrend. Ethereum. Ooh. Yeah, pound Kiwi. Yeah, let's look at Ethereum real quick for menu. Like I said, none of these cryptocurrencies are really my thing, but they do follow Elliott wave patterns pretty decent, so might as well check them out. So we have impulsive down, looks like a wave A. This definitely looks like a possible B, and it does look like a possible C. So let's throw some Fibonacci levels on there and see if it's bouncing off a fib level, which it definitely is. It's bouncing off to 50%. That could possibly be the end of a crescent also. So definitely, man, that might want to keep an eye on that one also. But then as you go down to shorter time frames, it really doesn't look that convincing. It almost looks like an ABC in that it's going to go down again. Maybe it's just going to make a wave 5 and then go up and break structure and end up continuing the uptrend. Bitcoin doesn't really look like it's ready to go down up yet either, so I definitely do see like one up, 3 waves down, and then another up. So it definitely is looking like an ABC on these shorter time frames. So I would possibly be cautious on this one. I might even take that as a sorting opportunity. And then while you short, you can learn whether it does something like this. It makes an impulsive move up, makes a higher low, higher low, higher low. If it does that, then I would exit my short and go long. Or if it does have the end of an ABC crescent with this break of structure, then it might just keep on going down. So if you get short looking at this thinking that it may be a crescent to the uptrend, and then it turns out that it just continues down, it's almost like a bonus trade, and it would probably end up being a pretty good opportunity either way. So that's what I would expect on that. Bitcoin doesn't really look like that though. Bitcoin does look like it's going to go up. Litecoin looks like it's going up too, so I don't know. I think there's a good chance that they're all going to go up. So I bet Ethereum's going to go up also. I bet ADA, Cardano is going to go up also. So let's see. Let's circle back and look at the pound Aussie for Larry. So let's go back and check out the pound. Was it the pound Aussie or the pound Kiwi? The pound Kiwi. Pound Kiwi. I think this is in a wave 3, right? I haven't looked at this one much lately either because I mostly only trade the dollar pairs. Yeah, I think this is in a wave 3 on the monthly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. I think this is an A, B, and C forming. And I think we have a long ways to go to the upside. Weekly time frame looks like an A, looks like 3 ways down for the B, and it looks like it's in a C, 3, and it looks like it should keep going up. But these are the weekly and monthly time frames, so that doesn't mean that there's not going to be pullbacks on shorter time frames. But look at that. That's actually a very soft move to the downside, so that may actually be a motive wave crescent. It looks like it's ended a crescent, and it looks like it's just going to keep on going up, which most of that is probably actually caused by the pound, because the pound also looks like it's going up in a big way. Yeah, I definitely can't make this out as an ABC crescent. It's really just a trend. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wave downtrend with a break of structure to the upside. I mean, it could possibly still be an A, and it possibly could be a wave B. So if it does something like this and then turns down, I would definitely take that as a short for the wave C. So it definitely could make an ABC crescent, but with how impulsive up it is, I also think it very easily could just keep on drifting up also. So until we have some sort of a clue that this is the end of a wave B, I would definitely be looking for longs on shorter time frames. It looks like we just had a long recently on this. It kind of looks like a 1. This looks like it could be a 2, and it looks like we may already be in a wave 3. But if it does turn out to be a wave B, it could also be an A. It could be a wave B. And if this goes up and does something like this and then goes down and breaks structure, that's where we'll tell it's a wave C, and that's breaks of structure would actually be a sorting opportunity for the continuation of a downtrend for a C. A, B, C, or B, and then back down for a C. But since we don't really know that, I would just definitely continue to look for longs until we see a break of structure, and if that break of structure never happens, I would just continue to look for longs in an uptrend at the end of any of these ABC pullbacks that we may see until we see a break of structure to the downside, and if that break of structure never happens, then we'll just keep on looking for longs in an uptrend. So let's go check out the dollar pairs again, see what's going on. It looks like they're trying to turn back up, which I was kind of expecting, because the last structure level is way down there, so you can almost guarantee that this is going to make a move to the upside. But I bet this move to the upside is going to make a lower high, and I bet it's going to keep on going down. I think we've already ended a cut, and it's just going to make like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and then continue down for like a 3, 4, and 5. Euro dollar. Now the euro dollar is definitely not too convincing that it's going up. It never broke structure, like I was saying earlier, but it does look like it's trying to end a wave C. So if it goes down and makes like a 5 and then goes up and takes out structure, that would be a very clear entry to go long. Or if it goes down and makes a higher low like this, higher low, then that would be a entry to go long also. So I would definitely keep a close eye on these. The pound dollar, I definitely think, is ending this section of trend, but I think there's a good chance this is a 1 and it's now going to go down for like a 2, and then it's going to go up and break structure and make a 3, 4, and 5. I think this one has ended a correction, and mostly because of the pound. The pound has been very strong today. The Aussie dollar, this also, to me, it hasn't broken structure, but with how impulsive up it is, I still think there's a very good chance this move down is a correction, and that it will go up, it will break structure, and it will continue the uptrend. So I am definitely looking for longs on this one also at the end of pullbacks, probably someplace between the 15 and 1 hour time frame. For sure looking for longs. The Kiwi dollar does kind of look like it may make another move to the downside. It does kind of look like it needs like a 3, 4, 5, and then if it goes up and breaks structure, that would definitely be the end of a correction, I believe, and the continuation of the uptrend. But if it does go down like this and make a higher low with an impulsive move up, higher low, that would be an entry to go long also for me for the continuation of this uptrend. The US dollar Canadian, this one also I think is very clear that this is possibly ended a correction. So I think that anything we see to the upside is going to be a correction to this move down, and I think there's a very good likelihood it's going to make a lower high and just keep on going down, probably like a 1, 2 and wave 3 of wave 3, because I believe this one is in a wave 3 on the much longer time frames also. US dollar Swiss is one of the more convincing ones that this correction is already over, especially with that break of structure. So if we do see a move to the upside, I think it's going to be a correction to this move down. So I would definitely be taking that as a sorting opportunity. Anytime I see any moves to the upside, I'm definitely going to be sorting any rallies I see for sure. The US dollar yen, like I keep saying, the yen is pulling this one up really hard, and the dollar is trying to pull it down. So for me, even though it does create some good trading opportunities, I'm not really a big fan of this one because the yen is driving it sometimes, the dollar is driving it other times, and they kind of fight each other. Sometimes you have strong versus strong, weak versus weak. Either of those scenarios is not a very ideal situation for trading. So if it does go down, if it does take out structure, I would definitely take it as a sorting opportunity, but also I would try to remember that the yen pairs look like they have a long way to go to the upside. So let's take it down to gold. What is gold up to? Yeah, like Menu was saying, gold definitely does look pretty corrective up. I will definitely give you that. So if it breaks structure to the downside, it may make another push down for sure, especially with how the dollar's looking. But it does look very corrective. There's no doubt about that. A, B, C. So that definitely could make another push down, maybe even all the way to 78.6. Gold, like I said, has been very, very, very choppy, and I don't really trade gold anyways, but honestly, if I was trading gold, I don't know if I would want to continue to trade gold until we get some sort of a nice impulsive move or something. But It does look like it possibly is going down, but if it does go down and make a higher low, just like the other dollar pairs, and then impulsive up, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity. Or if it goes down and makes like that 3, 4, 5 shape like this, and then goes up and breaks structure to the upside, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity also. And we don't even really know for sure. This could just be a bear trap. It could just go down and then just keep on going back up. So I would definitely be a little cautious on this one for sure. The higher time frames for me are very clear that the trend is up. Shorter time frames, you can tell that the sellers are really trying to push this down, but higher time frames, you can really tell that the buyers are definitely still in control. They're still making higher lows the whole way up. I still don't see any reason to think this is going down. I still think it's a wave 3, and I still think that it has a long ways to go to the upside. So definitely, if you haven't done so already, definitely join my Discord channel. It's 100% free to join, no obligations to pay a dime if you do not want to. But I do offer trading help to anybody that wants it, and if anybody does want the request looked at during these live streams, I normally only look at requests for paying Patreon members. So if you want to join my Patreon, the link for that is in the chat and the description, or you can just join my Discord, which is 100% free to join, and we currently have over 3,247 members, so we have a big community of traders, and definitely people willing to help out, and really traders helping traders. So definitely join that if you want to. Join my Patreon if you're interested. It comes with a trading course with over 38 videos. Twice a week I do Zoom meetings where I teach, and I also do a members forecast every morning around London session, but before I make videos on all the dollar pairs, all the yen pairs, including gold and oil. So if you haven't done so already, definitely like and subscribe to my channel. It makes a huge difference for YouTube pushing my content out to other members. And I live stream on Mondays, on Wednesday, and most of the time I live stream on Friday also. And on Tuesday and Thursday I do a 2-hour Zoom meeting for my paying members where I teach. So if you are interested in that, definitely check out my Patreon website. If not, definitely join my free Discord channel, 100% free to join. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the day. It is Monday. Mondays are known for being slow, so definitely be careful with your trading. And as usual, happy trading and good luck to everybody.